Hi, everybody. So, a couple of years ago, I got a phone call that changed my life. But before I get to that, just some context. I am a trans person, and when I was coming out, I had who I considered a best friend. And I say it that way because you all know that friend who, when you look back in hindsight on your memories, you start to think like, oh, she was a horrible person. Now, I really believe that everyone knows what I'm talking about, but I hope that you haven't all had this experience. Because for me, that friend was Janet. So I came out, and a little while after that, we had plans to get together. And she never showed up. Now, I don't know where your minds go when this happens to you, but I always have the very reasonable reaction of, oh, they're probably just dead. Okay? Now, Janet did have some health issues going on that made this even more of a thought in my head. I was a little more concerned that she wasn't there. I called, I texted, never heard back. I gave it a few days. Still didn't hear from her. Now, a week and a half later, I thought, I should check. I should check in. And I got the very reassuring message on the other end of the line that this is no longer a working number. Now, at this point, I am definitely thinking, oh, she's dead. And I get this all but confirmed weeks, almost a month later, when I run into our mutual friend, Doug, who I also hadn't heard from in a while. And I ask, and I say, hey, I'm getting really concerned. Have you heard from Janet? And Doug looks at me like a deer in the headlights. And he says, oh my God, nobody told you? Janet died. Okay, now we have gone to a dark place. And get ready for this to get weird and wild, because after this, I start, really processing my grief. I go through the stages of grief, and I'm, like, okay, Janet is dead. So imagine my shock and horror 2 years later, when I am leaving work after a particularly rough day. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything. And I get a phone call from Janet. Oh yeah, strap in, folks. So I pick up the phone and I hear, hello, Samantha? Yeah? Hey, do you know who this is? Yeah? It's Janet. Aren't you dead? Because what else am I supposed to say in this moment than that? And here's when the shitty part starts. It's all shitty. It's all horrible. She says, oh yeah, I'm really sorry I told Doug to tell you that. It's just you had come out as trans, and I didn't want you to, talk to me about it. Oh yeah. So, see, I've been telling this story so long that I forget that, people have empathy. But, so thank you for your empathy, and that will not be, hopefully, you enjoy the comeuppance of this story. So I'm at a loss for words, and she says, by the way, where are you with everything? Now that is her roundabout way of asking what surgeries I have had. And I know this because she then clarified, by that I mean, what surgeries have you had? So I respond very reasonably with, fuck you. I'm not very comfortable with you calling me 2 years later, and that's none of your business. So she responds very reasonably with, please don't yell at me. The doctor says stress can make my chronic illness worse. Now, I am a chronically ill person, and I have never done this. So over the course of a 5-minute conversation, she has revealed she faked her death, blamed my being trans as to why, asked me about my genitals, and weaponized her illness. So I am not going to tell you everything that I said to her in this moment, but I am going to give you the best one, okay? I yelled at her for quite a while, and before hanging up, I said, and you know what? If your cancer does come back, because that was what she had, that was the exact line, was, stress will make my cancer come back. I said, if your cancer does come back, you'll be fine. It can't kill another cancer. I don't know what it means either. It's probably not a nice thing to say to someone, but you're all on my side. So I hang up the phone, and I'm on fire. And I start thinking about all of these other people in my life who maybe didn't deserve to be there. So I called them all up and I said, you're a cancer. No, but I did remove them all from my life. And I started being better to myself and working on boundaries. So years go by and I'm out to eat with a friend, a real one. She says to me, you know, Sammie, I'm always amazed at just how good you are at like setting boundaries and how you don't take shit from anyone. How'd you do it? And I looked her right in the face and I said, well, it's a funny story. You remember Janet? And that's it for me.